I am an artist and producer based in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, and I've been a professional musician since I was 18. That is covering about 15 plus years now. Yeah, I've been playing the local music scene, produced a few songs. In 2015, I was signed to Universal Music with my band, Back to Basics. And yeah, we learned a lot in that process. I got to see what it was like to be a signed artist. Got to play with a lot of really good, very talented artists like Anggun, Yuna. Got to open for Asha and DNCE, and yeah, it was an amazing experience. I learned a lot in that time. And when our contract was up, I decided to open my own record label, Soul Lab Records, as you can see at the back there. And since then, I've been producing music for myself, for other artists as well. Do a lot of corporate jingles and advertisement writing as well. And today, I'm going to be doing something a little different. I'm going to be deconstructing one of my songs from my recent album. The song's called Poison, and I'll be deconstructing it, and we'll be recreating it for you as well, so that you can see what was my thought processes as I was writing it, and how I built up the track and how I eventually ended up producing it. All right, so we're gonna dive into the DAW. Okay, guys, so we're gonna jump into the DAW right now, and in the interest of time, I've already pulled up all the previous tracks and samples that I used in the original track, so that I can show you how I came about it and what I did to come up with the track. So as you can see here, we have 22 tracks. Yeah, 22 tracks, and 23, 24 is just the original song itself. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play it for you, so that you can hear. I'll play it until maybe the first chorus, so that you can hear what the song is like, and then I'll break it down. I'll deconstruct it, and you can see what I did to build up the track from there. Okay, so I'm going to play this one first. All right, in arrangement view here. This is the full track. Let's just take a listen to this really quickly, and then we'll move on from there. All right, here we go.
That shorty so fun, yeah. Take a player for a ride, yeah. Top speed in a foreign, floor the gas, give me more. Pedal to the metal, make me cheer encore. She put it down like telling my mama that it feels right. She keep that body tight. Her glide and sinker got me every night. So, mommy, I'm good to go. Feel my sanity being stripped by the poison on her lips. That girl so complicated, got me faded, just can't handle it. That girl so intoxicated, just like poison. But I love the way it tastes. That girl so complicated, got me faded, just can't handle it. That girl so intoxicated, just like poison. But I love the way it.
Right. So as you can see, it's a full-on track. I'm the vocalist, of course, so I didn't share what instruments I play. So besides obviously producing and arranging, and I do more mixing and mastering as well. My primary instrument is I'm a vocalist. Right. So that was what I started with first. I've been doing that. That's what people know me for as well. But I do play all the contemporary instruments. So if you take a listen to this track, it's pretty simple. It's not too complicated. We'll go through we'll go through all the basic elements of the track, and you'll see that it's really not that complicated. It's really pretty straightforward. All right. So the tracks that we have here. Oh, don't mind me as well. Again, I have the DAW put up on a screen, on a monitor at the back, because it's just easier to look at. It's larger, you know what I mean. It doesn't give me a neck ache by looking down, which I suggest you all do as well. So yeah, sometimes if I'm not looking at you, please excuse me. Okay. All right. So let's look at the DAW right here. So we have drum track 1, 2, and 3. I have 3 different pieces. Actually, it's not that there are three different drum tracks. It's the same drum track. It's just that when I'm writing, I prefer to write the hats, the kick, and the snare in different tracks. I don't know why. Sometimes I'm not really a drummer per se. I mean, I can play a bit of drums, but sometimes your coordination's just out. So sometimes I just like to play the hats here, the drums, the kick here, and the snare here. Um, Often I play it all together, like in one track, and then I will split it up. You know what I mean? So that I can affect it differently. And I'm well aware that you can affect it here itself. You know what I mean? But it's just, it's so tiny over here, man. Like if you want to send ins and outs here, it's so small. It's not easy to see. So I just literally split it up into three different tracks, like kick, snare, hats, and I affect them differently from there. You know what I mean? So that's just the way I do it. And then of course, if you have more pieces, you can do the same thing. I feel like it gives you a lot more control on each piece, but it really is up to you. Like I said, you can work it from even the sends from at the bottom here on the drum rack itself. So yeah, that's what I do. So like I said, the pieces are just drums. I have a bass called bass sub Texas, which I'm sure I have modified and edited to the max. I have a sample here called track slowed. You'll hear that later on. Is basically every time there's a major break, you hear like a zoop sound. You know what I mean? Like it's a slowed down kind of thing. So I have that as well. I pulled up there is no actual mellow piano in there. There's no marked piano there like Rhodes, but I pulled that up just later because I want to show you the chord progressions that I used as I was playing this. Yeah, and then I have a pad which is like it's like a rising pad, I would say. I don't know if you call it rising, but it's yeah, it's kind of like a sloping kind of whoop whoop sound. That's how I like when I'm producing as well. Like that's how I hear sounds in my head. Yeah, so you'll hear it later and why I use that type of pad per se. And then these are actually my guitar tracks. I should probably rename them right. I'm gonna name them right now so you don't get confused as well. Guitar. So these are my main guitar tracks. And you can hear in the song the guitars. The song is pretty heavy, like guitar driven. Like the acoustic guitar at the back there is kind of driving the entire pulse of the song. So we'll break that down later, and I'll show you what I played as well. You'll see another 5 pink tracks here. Of these 5 pink tracks, they are all guitar tracks as well, but they're all like licks and ad libs that I added throughout the song. Okay, the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 tracks they're actually vocal tracks, which I kind of combined with the pad to give it like this ooh. I wanted like a vocal harmony ooh sound, you know what I mean, where it was at the back like a pad as well. So it kind of follows the chords of the pad, and it rises, So but I wanted it to sound like organic with a pad and that rising feeling. I don't know if that makes sense, but you'll hear it later when I play it. In fact, I'll just play it for you now, and you'll see what I mean. So if you look over here, I literally like recorded along with the pad, which is here. These are the pad chords. I'm just gonna show you the pad chords before I get into the rest of the arrangement, so you'll see what I mean. If you look at the pad chords, yeah, so those are my chords on the pad. And then what I did with these is I kind of copied exactly the same thing. They are more or less the same chords. I added a few notes, but I sang each note in the chord, yeah, basically, and they came out like this. So with the pad as well, well, I'll play these first. Yeah. Let me start from it. This is one. Yeah. So when you combine them with the pad, you get this sound. But I'll get to that. I know I kind of jumped the gun here a little bit, but yeah, that's basically the chord. I just wanted to explain to you why I did that, but I'll go back to that and explain how they relate to the rest of the song. But this song, okay, so I've broken it all down basically, and the song starts like that. I literally, there's so many ways to start. There's so many ways to start a song, right? Like some people write the chords first. Some people write the melodies first. Some people play chords on the piano. Some people write the drums first. And there's no hard and fast rule as to how you should do it. It really is about how you feel. You know what I mean? So for me, with this particular track, I wrote the drums first, and the drums sound like this. I'm just gonna play it here, and then I'm gonna show you how I replayed it. Okay. I'm just gonna solo this. Okay. Yeah, that's basically when I started the song. I was kind of like just I had this like beat in the car, right? I was like boop, boop, ka, tss, boop, boop, ka, tss, boop, boop, ka. And then I was just like, okay, let me put this down. I think I've got something here. Like I kind of like heard the chords in the background in my head as well. So I was like, okay, let's put this down. So I'll play you what I played. I'm just gonna record this really quickly, and then you'll get an idea of what I mean. Yeah, so like I was saying, I split the drums up so that I can play the pieces more easily. I mean, perhaps I'm not as coordinated. I'm sure some of you can. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play the hats first, and then I will play the kick and the snare. So let me record the hats first. Yeah, so now that we have our hats down, what I'll do is record the kick and the snare. And generally, like when I start the song, for me, I will always start in live view. And once I have like maybe a feel down for the verse, the chorus, for verse, chorus, maybe even a pre-chorus. Once I have those three sections, I will go ahead and I will record it directly from live into arrangement view. So let's go ahead and record the kick and the snare. So the kick and the snare pattern went like this. Yeah, so let's record that. Yeah, so there we have our kick and snare pattern. Yeah, so there we have our kick and snare pattern, and it goes like this if we play it all together. Let's just let's quantize these because they sound a bit off. And let's quantize our hats as well. Yep, and then let's hear how they sound now. No, hang on, let me fix this. Yeah, this quantize doesn't work right? Yeah. Boop, 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 cut. Let's see if that's right. I can't. Even the hats, hang on. We gotta fix this. Yeah. I guess gotta move this a sec. What is going on here, man? Right. Okay, now let's see with our drum track. Yeah, so once I added the drums in, I quantized it, to make it to make everything sync properly. Or you can even leave the quantize on if you like, and that will make everything so much easier, right? Once I had the drum track down, when I was writing the track, I was like, okay, what do I need to add to this track that would what did I want to do with it, and I was kind of feeling like I wanted to add an acoustic guitar, so I'll just play you what I played on the acoustic guitar and how I added that in. So this is what I played. Yeah, this is what I played on the acoustic guitar. I actually like to drop this guitar as in tune down the strings because I think it sounds so much nicer. So I started off with this. Yeah, and that's how I started off. So in the interest of time, let's jump back to the door. I've already pre-recorded it. I'm just gonna plug it in and you're gonna hear how it sounds, okay? Right, so I have it here actually where I muted it earlier. I'm just gonna mute these other two as well. Just switch these. I think this is the one actually. Yeah, so this is what it sounds like together with the drums. Yeah, and I essentially built the rest of the song from that. Like, I just figured out, okay, I want it to sound like this. Okay, now what do I need to do in terms of building the dynamics of the track? Because obviously you can't have the track play that the whole time, right? So I needed an alternative, like a guitar alternative that was for the verses, right? Because this one's a bit more upbeat, it's a bit more punchy. So I was like, okay, I'll use this section in the chorus. But before I actually went and built a verse guitar guitar rhythm, I actually had written the chorus over it first. So I'm just going to play the chorus here, and then you will hear the two major elements in this song are actually guitar and the drums. All right, I'm just going to play the song from the chorus here. I believe it's here.
So poison on lips, that girl so complicated, got me faded, just can't handle it. That girl so intoxicated, just like poison, but I love the way it's.
Yeah, so I mean you can hear like essentially the two main elements in this track is the guitar and the drums. All right, and then I had written immediately after I had written these two pieces, right, as you can see here, I literally started like this: hat, drum track, guitar, and then I wrote the chorus, that girl so complicated. And it's just my thing. Like for this song, I just felt like, okay, I was writing the chorus already, so I wrote the chorus. I even built the harmonies on top of it. So in the interest of time, I'm not going to do all of that, from scratch, because the vocal recording process can take some time. So I'm going to skip that section, and later on, I'll show you what I did with the harmonies. I'll break down the harmonies, what I did, how I did it. I'm going to move on to the next part, which is I built the verse guitars. So the verse guitar sounded like this. So like in any song, right, like you want the verse to be a little bit mellow, and then you want the dynamics to go up or to jump up in the chorus so that there's a dynamic effect, right? So with having, since the verse was already like this, yeah, since the verse was already kind of punchy, I was like, okay, I need to play something that's a little bit more down tempo so the verses can be a little bit more chilled, and then boom, upbeat chorus, you know what I mean? So I went with this as a verse. It's just literally that. For those of you interested in chord progressions, it's literally D minor 7, there's a G minor, well, I'm in drop, right? So it's actually a C minor 7, but yeah, you know what I mean? Everything's tuned down, so essentially it's actually a C minor 7, yeah, to the F minor 7, to the B diminished, back to the D minor 7, or the C minor 7, sorry, right? Yeah, so that's what I did. And if you're interested in the chorus is the same thing. It's just I added D minor 7 flat 5 here. So it becomes C minor 7, G minor 7, the D minor 7 flat 5 to the B minor 7 flat, to the B diminished, back to the C minor 7. Yeah, and that's it basically. So let's jump back to the door. Right, so I had the chorus already, as you can see in the top line here, this line here, right, which I'm going to play here. Oh, sorry, I have that soloed. Let me take it off solo. Alright, so I have it in the top line here. And I was like, okay. Once I had the verse down, so I recorded the verse guitars. I've already pre-recorded it in the interest of time. So I'm just going to duplicate these, alright? Because the drums were initially when I had started the track, the drums were the same. Later on, once I had recorded from live view or sessions view to arrangement view, that's when I kind of adjusted the drums and changed the hi-hats a little bit. But this is my process essentially. I will write the sections out first, record the section in total, and then I will work on changing the minor details here and there so that it makes the track interesting. You'll see what I mean, yeah? So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to switch these two around since these were the verse, right? And I'm going to name this verse here, okay? And the verse and the pre-chorus is more or less the same. The chords throughout the song remain the same other than the slight variation in the chords, but generally it's about the same, yeah? So what we would get is in the verse, it sounds like this. Yep. Then I switch over to the chorus. So you can already feel like the minute these guitars come in, it lifts the track completely, right? It feels like a chorus. So that's why I wrote those two different sections, right? Okay. So I'm gonna do my process, and what I'll do now is I'll record it in arrangement view. So let's start from the top. I know that in the original song that I recorded, there is a guitar intro, but I obviously didn't start that way first. I literally did it like this. So what I would do is I would go to sessions view, okay. We'll get this recorded. We'll put the metronome on. I'm gonna record, for me, that's what I like to do. I'll record, it's kind of formulaic in the sense where it's like, generally a song needs to be 3 minutes long, right? So I will just vary myself between these two patterns and hit that 3 minute long. I mean, in every song, when I say formulaic, I mean, it's verse, maybe you have an intro, maybe not, right? But generally you have verse, pre-chorus, chorus, right? Maybe a post-chorus, right? Back to verse, pre-chorus, chorus, a bridge, and then you have a chorus out, right? And that generally is 3 minutes. Modern songs, maybe not so many pieces. They normally don't have a bridge anymore. They kind of have like they sometimes don't even have an intro, right? It's like a it's like a verse, pre-chorus, chorus, post-chorus, verse, pre-chorus, chorus, no bridge. It'll be like chorus, post-chorus, maybe chorus again and chorus out, right? So let's record the whole thing down. That's what I did first. I recorded 3 minutes worth of varying verses and choruses, and then I adjusted it accordingly. All right, so let's do that right now. Feel my sanity being stripped by the poison on lips. That girl so complicated, got me faded, just can't handle it. That girl so intoxicating, just like poison. But I love the way you say so complicated, got me faded.
is getting tighter on my leash. The poison that I'm getting is just so sweet. Baby, want a little more? Yes, please. So, mommy, I'm good to go. Feel my sanity being stripped by that poison on her lips. That girl so complicated, got me faded, just can't handle it. That girl so intoxicating, just like poison. But I love the way it tastes. Girl so complicated, got me faded, just can't handle it. That girl so intoxicating, just like poison. But I love the way top down with the windows up. Just slow it down, let me fill your cup. When I'm in town, let me hit it up. Just say the word, cause we need it now. Top down with the windows up. Just slow it down, let me fill your cup. When I'm in town, let me hit it up. Just say the word, cause we need it now. Basically, I mean, yeah, you have to watch the whole thing, but that's what I do. I will record the whole thing. I mean, not that I will freestyle, but I'll know, okay, I want it this long. I want it 3 minutes long. I'm just gonna stop it after this, yeah. And I'll record it for 3 minutes long, and I will vary. Yeah, I will vary it like. I know, okay. For example, okay, if we look here now in arrangement view, we have our full track, right? And it's about 2 minutes 30 seconds long. So when you add the intro and there were some outro parts as well, you will reach 3 minutes long. So I know that, okay, I'm trying to target radio. Radio will accept a 3 minute long song, so that's what I did. And even though I don't have the lyrics or whatever written, I will know, okay, generally based on the formula, I will go however long I want my intro. And generally on radio, you don't want to have a long intro. If it's Spotify or whatever, do whatever you want. You know what I mean? You can put a long intro if you like. But yeah, put the intro down. Maybe you can put intro 4 bars, verse 4 bars, pre-chorus 4 bars, chorus 8 bars maybe, right? Or it could be even double of that. Depends on how you count. Depends on what tempo you have it on. Depends on how you're counting. But generally for me, that's what I do. Like, I know my formula: 4 bars of verse, 4 bars of pre-chorus, or maybe even 8 bars of verse, 4 bars of pre-chorus, 8 bars of chorus. And that's generally what we have here. And once I have that down, once I have that skeleton down, I'm not cracking my head anymore as to, oh no, what am I going to do with this part of the track, whatever. I know my skeleton already, you know what I mean? And that, it, for me personally, it solves a lot of problems. So from here, like, the question is like, from here, what did I do next, right? I wanted to make the track more interesting. I was like, okay, what can I do to bring the chorus up, right? At this point, when I had written the song, I had already had the chorus melodies, right? So I had sang the melodies. I had actually built the harmonies on top of the chorus already, and I had my bass and my guitars. So I was like, okay, let's add a standard bass line to the track, right? And this is what I had. It was a really straightforward bass line. Nothing it was nothing crazy. I just wanted a low end kick to outline the entire song, right? So hang on, I've actually recorded over all of this. Oh no, never mind. I can show you. I can pull it up again on the other tracks, no problem. I can pull those tracks in later. Okay. Let's see. So with the bass, what I did was sorry man. Sorry guys. So I'm going to show you what I did with the bass now. Again, it was also really straightforward, nothing fancy. Let's jump into the recording for the bass. The bass, I kept it really simple, and I just followed the chorus. I'm going to record it over the chorus as well. And then from there, what I did was I modulated it, and not modulated, I kind of modified it and made it fit a more chilled out verse. But yeah, let's record the bass and you'll hear how it sounds. All right.
literally it. It was that simple. All right, let's jump back in the door and we'll take a look. Right, so with our bass in there now, that just kind of it gave the track that some low ends that it needed. You know what I mean? So yeah, it sounded like this. Let's hear it out. Hear how it all sounds together. Let's just let's quantize this bass a bit. It's a bit all over the place. And that's it. So from there, we can, rather than, what I would do is I would probably just drag this bass into the arrangement view. So you just hold, switch, and you can drag it over here, and that's your bass right there. And where is our chorus actually? Let's have a look here. That's where the guitar changes, right? Yep, over here, right? So we're gonna put our bass here. Yep. Hang on. What's going on here? Sorry, it's really hot here. Right? And then that was literally my bass, so I'm just going to duplicate that. And then we went back to the verse after that. So already we have our bass in the chorus done, and our verses are more or less like that. What I would probably do over the verses is keep the bass line even simpler. I probably wouldn't have it move as much, but later I will open the final track, the actual recording track, and I'll show you what I did with the bass over there. I just want you to get the idea of how I move around from here. Okay, so from here, what else do I want to do? I mean, as a vocalist, for me, a lot of the track building and how I build the dynamics is I really focus on harmonies. Like if you listen to the song, you will hear that so much of it, I think at least 50% of the track is just built off vocal harmonies. And I will later on, I'll open up the track and I'll show you what I did with the harmonies as well. But what else I did was, okay, I needed to add a pad. I need to add some more chordal structures in a different kind of dimension. You know what I mean? Like everything here is kind of forward. Like the guitars are forward, the drums are forward, the bass is pretty forward. You know what I mean? And they're all like in this plane on different frequencies, right? Because the guitar is on a higher end frequency, and then your kick and snare is like on the mid to high range, and then your kicks are mid lows. You know what I mean? And then your bass covers the lower ends as well, right? So I needed something that's going to be sitting in the background, and that's why I came up with these pads, and I'm going to show you what I did with the pads, okay? I just wanted to show you what are the chords I use for the pads, and it's very hard to hear on the pads because the pads are like mid-low to mid-frequencies, I'd say. So I'm going to play using an EP, what are the chords that I use, and it's the same chords, the E minor. I just want to show you the voicing. So what I did was with, C minor 7. So I played the chords really close together, so it sounded like this. Yeah. So generally the chords sounded like that. Over the chorus, I played the same thing as well. So C minor, it's actually a C minor 9 to an F minor 9, and then an F. Well, actually it's a B diminished, but I didn't play the B on bass note because the bass is already pretty strong. Back to the C minor 9. Yep. And I did the same thing in the chorus and the verse because, I didn't think it was necessary. You know how the chorus we also have a D diminished, right? So in the chorus we have this D diminished there. But I just didn't think it was necessary for the piano to fill it up, so I didn't play that. But what I could have done is also I could have played the C minor 9 in the chorus, right? So C minor 9 to the F minor 9. I could have gone to the D diminished here, harmonies going on and all that. So yeah. So yeah, let's jump back in the door and we'll get the pads ready. I'll show you what pad I use. So the pad, so in the door over here, the pad I used was these, as you can see here. I think this is called Operator, if I'm not mistaken. And I put a filter on it to take off a bit of the tops, and I EQ'd it. So you get this very kind of, I think I did all this in the mix, if I'm not mistaken, because I wanted this very narrow frequency range that filled up that emptiness of frequency, right? And yeah, let's just record the pads, and then you'll see what I did with it. I have another 2 pads there, right? Those 2 pads were used to, and if I show you here, you can see that they actually change the way I filtered the frequencies are different, so that when you're going from the transition of like verse to chorus or pre-chorus to chorus, those pads, the pads 9 and 10, they had a brighter frequency, so they would lift the track coming into the chorus. But okay, let's play the pads over what we have right now, and then you will see how they fit in. Okay, let's jump over to the piano. Alright, so this is what we did for the pads. Okay, let's record them. Oh, made a mistake there, hang on, let's re-record. Literally just the pads, and those pads just loop over and over again. But I did do something to the pads that made it, as I was trying to explain earlier, I wanted to have this very organic vocal ooze on top of the pads to make it sound like it was like this synthesized ooze, right? So what I did was, after I recorded these pads, I also recorded the ooze individually of each individual note. So you literally, in the C minor 9, for example, you have the C, you have the D sharp, you have the G, and you have the B flat or the A sharp, right? And I literally sang the ooze for all those notes so that I could get the same chord, and then I built the chords based on that. So let's jump back in the door and you'll see. Alright, so now that we have our pads, let's take a look at how it sounds. I'm just going to quickly EQ all of these. Not EQ, I'm just going to quickly quantize all of them, and then you'll see how it sounds, right? Okay, let's take a look. Hang on, this one didn't quantize properly. This fella. Why are you misbehaving, man? Let's pull this here. 1. Yep, okay. Right, so that was my pads for the entire song, and the pads vary here and there. Again, I'll show you the final recording on how the tracks work and how I changed the arrangement to make it more interesting. But this is how I built it. Basically, all the main features are here. Okay, so from the pad, what I did was, as I was telling you, I added ooze. So I literally recorded piece by piece these ooze that are here, as you can see. Why are these not? What's going on here? Why can't I touch those? Okay, I'm gonna have to pull them in from the other side. Yeah, I'm gonna have to pull these in. Hang on, guys. I can't free these up, so I gotta pull in chords. All right. So luckily I have my my Poison tracks here on hand, and I'm gonna show you what they sound like. I wish I had named them though. Yeah, so let me see. I'm pretty sure that these ones here, I'm gonna pull them all in. Okay, and we're gonna hear how they sound together with the rest of the track. Give it a sec, let it load up. There's a lot of harmonies there. Yep, that's right, it is it's the correct one. Okay, let me just get all of these because they're not in the right position right now, and we're gonna drag them to 18. Yeah, over here. Is that right? Yeah, that's right. So with the pads, where are the pads? Oh yes, I haven't pulled the pads over. So I'm just gonna drag these pads over here, click, change, and I'm going to bring the pads to, is it the 18 mark? No, it's not 18 mark. It is the 13 mark. Okay, alright, so pads here, I gotta change the position of the harmonies again to 13. I mean, it'd be easier if I just delete actually all of them and just keep the main. Let me see what. Let me see. One sec. Okay, what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna keep the main section, which is here, I believe. Yeah, so I literally just need, it was just literally these four up to here. Anything outside of that we don't need, so I'm just going to delete all of the rest just to give you an example, and then like I said, later on I will pull up the actual original recording of all these pieces, and you will see how I positioned them and layered them and so on and so forth. Okay, so we just need these for now. I just want you to hear how they sound together with the pads. Yeah, because like I said, I wanted this like synthy kind of, but I wanted synthy but organic. I don't know how to explain it. You know what I mean, right? Yeah. So I'm just gonna duplicate these 4 times. I'm gonna do the same with the vocals here with my ooze. Pop, pop, pop. Okay, done. Alright, so now we'll listen to them in arrangement view, and this is what I'm just gonna solo these with the pad as well, and then you hear the effect, the final effect that we get. Okay, check it out. Yeah. Yeah, so essentially that's what we get, right? And if we play everything together now, you'll hear how everything sounds. So at this point already, for me personally, I would already be out of the live session view, and I would be already working in arrangement view, because I have my main pieces down. So this is what it would sound like coming into the chorus, and yeah. So I mean, yeah, that's essentially how it went, and then I would probably use the same over the verses as well, the same pads over the verses, and more or less like 3/4 of your song is done. That was all the main pieces of the song, right? Everything else was just tiny bits of arrangement changes, removing the snare, taking out the hi-hats, adding a lot of harmonies, okay? But essentially, I went from building the drum track, right? So I built these two drum tracks here, 1, 2, and then we built the guitars for verse and chorus, and then after that we built the bass, right, around it. And your bass is more or less going to be the same, you know, throughout the song, unless you have like major chord changes or whatever. But yeah, your bass is going to be more or less the same. You probably want to have less movement in the verses so it doesn't sound too upbeat, you know what I mean? And then once we had that, we put the pads down with the vocal harmonies on top, and with the vocal ooze on top, and that made our track so much more full. Let's take a look at it one more time, and you'll see what I mean by full. Yeah, so like I said, it's full, right? And it covers all your frequency ranges, and that's what makes a song full, right? You don't have everything just in the low ends, or everything just in the mids, or everything just in the highs. You got a good dispersion of different frequencies, of different instruments throughout the different frequencies. So yeah, essentially this is how I built my track. And let's jump into the actual recording, the actual recorded version that I did. I don't know, must have been about a year ago already, and we'll see how I varied up the arrangement to make the song more interesting. Okay, I'm just gonna save this, and then we're gonna open up the next one. Okay guys, so I've pulled up the actual final recording, and we're gonna break down the arrangement and see what else I did. Like I said, essentially it's basically those few instruments that built the entire track. Let's see how I varied up the arrangement to make the song more interesting. So as you can see here with the drums in the beginning, I have basically removed the hi-hats, right? So let's take a look at it. Right, and of course, yeah, I'll just play the harmonies as well, so you get an idea of how I made the track interesting as well, using the harmonies as well, yeah? So hang on, let me pull these up. These are all good. Okay, I think I need to unmute these. All right, let's see. Of course, the harmonies don't make too much sense without the lead vocals, but I'd rather if I put the lead vocals in, it's gonna distract you, so I'd rather just play it without the lead vocals, and then you can hear it. All right, so we started off the arrangement, as we said, you know, when we recorded first, we had the full-on hi-hats playing in double time, tap, 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 with the kick and the snare, right? What I decided to do was, in the beginning, take out the hi-hats and just play it like this.
Yeah, yeah. In a foreign, pedal to the metal, make me cheer encore. She put it down.
And then on the 11th bar, I brought in the hats, but I brought in the hats only while the guitar was playing, and then when the guitar breaks, the hats break as well, so it's like this.
She put it down like telling my mama that it feels right. Hook, line, and sinker got me every night.
Yeah, so breaks are like a magic trick, right? Like breaks always make things interesting. You fill the break with harmonies or something, you know what I mean? It just makes the track more interesting rather than you have it play hi-hat, kick, snare all the way through the chorus. So already you can see how much that has made a difference to the entire arrangement, right? You've made it interesting by taking out elements and adding elements, and you know, adding breaks. So let's take a listen to the whole thing coming into the chorus. And we're just looking at what the drums do just to make the track more interesting, okay?
Yeah, yeah. In a foreign, pedal to the metal, make me cheer encore. She put it down like.
You notice the bass is not even in yet, right?
Feels right.
Yeah.
Hook, line, and sinker got me every night. So, mommy, I'm got to go. Sanity, poison on the lip.
Actually, the bass is supposed to come in at this point.
So, mommy, I'm got to go.
And you're just adding elements, you know what I mean?
Sanity.
Like now, by adding the bass at this point, right, we have added a new element, a new frequency, and it keeps the listener interested. So let's start from this point again.
So,
This is the pre-chorus.
Sanity, by the poison on the lips. That girl so
And then it all comes together.
complicated. just like poison.
Yeah, and then the chorus repeats again. So you can see just by adding elements and removing elements, it's made it interesting. And this is what I mean also, like with the pads. With the pads, when they were coming in into the chorus, we had these pads just kind of lift up. I'm just gonna solo these. Right, and you can hear they're brighter. So coming into the chorus, we had this.
Pedal to the metal, make me chill.
Oh no, that's not the chorus. Sorry. Coming to the chorus, we had this. So these came in and they just made it so much more interesting. You know what I mean? Yeah. Okay. Other things I did. Those harmonies, of course, right? But essentially, I mean, that is the entire track. You know what I mean? And then let's look at the second chorus. I'll break down the harmonies for you and what I did in the chorus.
Lips, that girl so complicated, got me faded, just get lit.
Yeah, I mean, that's essentially it. I just did that, and then those 4 or 5 instruments and a lot of vocal harmonies, and that more or less made the track. And then, you know, coming to the second verse, to make the second verse more interesting, this is what I did. At the end of the chorus, let's see. You'll see. I mean, in the chorus, you can hear that general pattern that we first came up with, right? And then, yeah, this is the rest of it. We'll see what we did coming to the second verse.
Just like poison. Can't breathe.
This is my second verse. It just makes it more interesting, you know.
So sweet. Yes, please. So
Again, just a bunch of breaks, a bunch of stops, some attacks here and there with the bass, and that just makes your. And I also changed up the melody of the second verse a little bit, and that just makes your song more interesting. You know what I mean? Like, it keeps the listener entertained. So yeah, there's so many tricks that you can do. And then let's jump to the end, because after that verse, the second verse, it goes back to pre-chorus and then chorus again as you know it. But just to add, I didn't have a bridge, but I had an outro kind of thing. So this is what the outro sounded like.
top down with the windows up. Just slow it down, let me fill your cup. When I'm in town, let me beat it up. Just say the word, and we're beating up. Top down with the windows up. Just slow it down, let me fill your cup.
So I changed the melody completely at the end. Top down with the windows up. Just slow it down, let me fill your cup. I'll just sing it over this one.
Top down with the windows up. Just slow it down, let me fill your cup. When I'm in town, let me beat it up. Just say the word, and we're beating up.
And because I didn't want to go, you know, chorus all the way to the end, so I added an outro that was slightly different, that made it slightly more interesting, I feel. And yeah, and that's what I did. And then at the end, it just goes, and it fades out. That's it. That's the entire song right there. It's pretty simple, pretty straightforward. You don't have to, you know, you don't really have to do a lot of instrumentation, a lot of arrangement, violins, a choir, you know, all sorts of things. You literally just got to know, okay, what can you do to make the arrangement more interesting? Keep it simple, keep the sound. The simpler the arrangement is, the more clear other instruments can be. It's easier to mix, you know what I mean? I won't go into the mixing process because that really is a different ball game altogether. But I do mix and master my own tracks. I feel like it's part of the art, and I really enjoy doing it. But I really won't go into that because, you know, that's really about cutting frequencies and filtering frequencies and being very meticulous about it. So I'm not going to jump into that. But yeah, that's it. That's the track. That's Poison. Yeah. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you enjoyed this one. I hope it was I was able to impart some knowledge, and I'm looking forward to watching other beat attack videos so that I can up my game as well and learn some stuff as well. Thanks so much, Beat Attack, for having me, and we'll see you guys in, I don't know, the metaverse, or if you're ever in KL, hit me up. Thank you so much, guys. Peace.